everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melanie and this is Designs by Mel and Co. So today for Vlogmas Day 5, I am showing you my 2026 reading journal. This is something I hadn't planned on doing, and you're going to see I've already jumped to the goals page. Um, it didn't record the beginning part, so I apologize, but it is now skipping to the goals page. So you'll see now I'm drawing a few lines at the bottom, and it's kind of to go along with not really a theme, but I really want to add a lot of like shelf kind of looking options to my journal this year, just to kind of keep things cohesive. I don't necessarily need to have all of the same artwork or anything, but the theme will be like bookshelves. So here I'm using one of my new alcohol markers, my Ohuhu alcohol markers, and I'm drawing on the side some squiggly lines. I'm going to color it in. I had planned to do this kind of design throughout my journal, but you'll see a little later on why I don't continue with this. Apparently, alcohol markers and Fossi notebooks don't go so well together. And apologies for the bouncing around while I'm erasing, but my camera's attached to my desk, so it'll be a little shaking. So I'm filling in here, just coloring it in, and I'm kind of sad that the alcohol markers won't work because I was really liking the color that went along with it. But the sad thing is, it really bleeds through onto the other side. So thankfully, I hadn't done the title page yet because otherwise I would have lost the entire title page. So, I mean, you'll see at the end what I end up doing with that. But for now, I'm just going to finish coloring this in and then we can move on from there. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next page. The next page is going to be for my ratings system. And I mean, it's not much different from last year. I just wanted to have a page dedicated to listing how I'm rating each of the books that I'm reading or listening to. So I'm going ahead again with the same kind of shelf design. I'm designing a shelf here, or drawing a shelf. I'm not designing it, but I'm drawing the shelf, and then I'm going to put the title in, and I'm trying to make it look like the title is on the shelf. I am not an artist. Please don't judge. I've never been one for like artistic abilities, but yes, I'm gonna make it look good. I'm drawing these brackets right now, and that's where I'm going to list each of the ratings. Now, last year I did 5 stars, so like 5 stars was what, 4 stars was what, 3 stars. This time I'm doing the same thing, but I'm adding in a spot for half stars. So I'll be able to go from 1 star all the way to 5 stars with half increments as well. So I'm not sure that it's going to be, a huge difference between like a 3 to a 3.5, but I thought it'd be interesting to add it in and just see where we're at. Now I'm adding in some washi tape because the alcohol markers was no longer going to be an option. So the washi tape I have is just some older washi tape. It has some, like script on it, some kind of vintage florals, just something a little more bookish, I guess. So I'm using that on the top just to fill in some of the space. The fact that I'm not able to use the alcohol markers kind of messed up my whole plan, so I've had to just go on the fly and change things up. I will say I'm pretty happy with the end result so far, so I'm not heartbroken about it, but it wasn't what I'd planned. Now I'm going through a pack of scrapbook cardstock, I guess if you will, and I found this kind of pinkish peach that kind of match the color that I put on the goals page. And I'm just tearing a strip of it to put on the sides just to try and tie in the color. It also has this beautiful gold foiling of some butterflies and some scrolls. And you'll see the butterflies a little later on as well. So it just ties everything in. Now, that pink thing you see me using is called an ATG, an advanced tape glider. I had to look over to see the name. It's essentially like a double sided tape applicator. And it's something that I got when I was scrapbooking. I absolutely love it. Getting refills for it is so, so cheap. A lot cheaper than when you buy the, I don't know, the Tombow ones, the smaller ones, kind of like the whiteout ones. So I really love using it. The only thing is I should have put, like now you see me putting the tape on the actual cardstock. That's the best way to do it. And then putting it down on the page, because I was struggling on the left side trying to make sure I had all of the edges taped down. You'll see the top part there. I'm still struggling with it to try to get it to stay down. But it eventually stays. So we're good. And then we can move on to the next page. All right. The next page or pages, since it's a 2-page spread, is my books read pages. Or I should say, are my books read pages. If my husband was listening to this, he'd be mortified. Um, Anyways, the English teacher in him. All right, so I'm just about to start working on putting down the headers right now, which will say books read. Now, I had thought about putting more books read on the other side. You'll see them more on that sticker sheet, but there wasn't enough room. So I'm just putting books read on both sides. Now I'm working on this washi tape that I've had for quite some time, and I'm going to put it along both edges of both pages. And for now, I'm just putting them down. You'll notice just straight. It's a thicker washi with straight edges, and then you'll see what I'll do in a minute. Okay, so I'm still working on the outer edges. Uh, it's definitely been a struggle. Again, I had really hoped to use the alcohol markers, but since I can't, I am making it work. So I'm putting it down now, and then you're going to see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to tear the washi just to make it a little thinner and to have it like not straight edges, so a little wobbly. And I feel like that adds a little bit of a vibe to it. That way it's not just straight lines. So these washi strips will kind of bookend, if you'll permit that expression. Anyways, it'll just line both sides of the design that I'm going to put on. So I'm just cutting off the excess right now, which is always a thing when you're putting these together. And I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but I do have a corner rounder. I just could not find it. So again, I'm just turning the scissors to make it rounded corners. All right, I'm erasing because I went through the entire book and set up already with pencil how I wanted things set up, and I am just gonna go over it now. I don't know if you realized, but to make the black lines, I've been using this pen has been the one I've been using is my Sharpie. No, it's my Pentel S Gel. I think it's an S gel. I just remember it's an S gel. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it is an S gel in black ink. It works beautifully. It has really dark black lines. Doesn't bleed through. It's been really good. I've also been using my Papermate Flare pens on some spreads, but for the most part, any lines that I've had to draw have been with this S gel pen in black. So what I'm doing here, I had thought about doing the large sticker sheets with bookshelves that have the books already printed, that I could just color in, add titles, all that stuff that you usually see in a reading journal. But one, because I'm using this square journal for the first time ever, and it's a Fossi. Not sure if I mentioned that already. It's a Fossi square journal, and I am absolutely in heaven with it right now because it's giving me all the space I feel I need. But because it is a larger space, I didn't have a bookshelf that would fit the entire width of the page. So to avoid wasting space, I am drawing these shelves, again keeping with my theme of having some shelves on some of the pages. I am hand drawing these shelves. So what I'm planning on doing now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make stickers that are in the shape of book binding, kind of like the, what do you call the edge of the book? Anyways, I don't know if I'm going to make stickers that look like book spines. That's what it is, book spines, but I will either add stickers or draw them and add them on the shelves. Okay, we have quickly moved on to the next pages. These pages will go together. It is for our Pages and Plans book club. I actually started this book club with a few friends that are on my Facebook group. A few of them are some of my PR people that are now close friends. So we started this book club. We have kind of fallen a little bit behind just because of, scheduling and stuff, but I do plan on making sure we stay on track for January and on. So I wanted to make this spread to kind of make sure that I have everything laid out. And you'll see I'm drawing out 12 boxes that look like book covers. And essentially I'm going to keep track of the 12 books that we are going to read throughout 2026. Now the book covers I usually print are a little larger than the boxes I've drawn, but that's okay. I can just put the sticker over top of the lines. I just wanted something there to keep a spot and to have it all laid out properly so that I could clearly see where all the 12 book covers will go. Beside each book cover, I do plan on adding the title of the book, obviously the author, the person who suggested it. Since I don't come up with all the book titles, I do ask the members of the book club for suggestions and then we pick together. So I'll put who suggested the book, and then at the end of the month, once we talk about the book, I will put in what the average rating was. All right, now this is the fun part. This gave me some stress. I have these stamps. I've had these stamps for quite some time, and I pulled them out and I thought, finally, I get to use them. They're brand new, so they're still all stuck together. So I'm pulling them apart, trying to lay them down, and I want to put the months on each, above each of the book cover spots. So I want to put like January, February, March, just the first three letters. So I started because I noticed Jan, Jan was too wide. I thought I'd do one letter at a time. I used my Tim Holtz distressed ink, and it got all fuzzy on the page. It just did not, I don't know if it's the stamp, I don't know if it's the ink, it just did not transfer well. So then you probably saw that I had the A, and I tried to use my Papermate Flare to add some ink to the A. That I could tell it was just like bubbling, not bubbling, but it wasn't sticking to the stamp. So I just said, screw it. I am not even going to bother with the stamps at this point, which made me sad, but I have to try and play with them a little bit, figure them out. And I just hand wrote in the months. Now, I don't have the best handwriting ever, but at least it's done. It looks good. And it saved me a bit of time because I could have gone and made some stickers to add, but I just didn't want to spend the time to make more stickers, to print them, cut them, blah, blah. So I just hand wrote it in. Now I'm using some of these PET black and gold rose stickers that I got from Temu, and love these stickers. However, I hate that they are not like pre-cut. You have to cut out the tape and then cut around the shape you want and then put it on. Anyways, it's a little bit of a nightmare, but whatever. It looks nice. I like the look of it. I would just really prefer if the flowers were cut separately. I have another PET tape that you'll see a little bit later that is in shape of butterflies, and those, for the most part, are individually cut, so it's a lot easier to use. I kept the spread rather simple just so I have room to add all the information. And there you go. I've got the book club page done. The only thing I decided to do is add some washi at the very bottom. I have this white washi with silver foil butterflies. That's just to keep the butterfly theme, I guess, alive, since there are butterflies every now and then in each of the pages or on some of the pages. So I added that. It just finishes off the bottom of the page, but it's still neutral enough where I have all the room I need to add the information once we get to it. All right, now we are on to probably the page that took me the most time to put together, and it's just because of the amount of lines. So I'm doing a days read spread, and it's one page, and that's simply because I want to be able to track in some sort of visual way how many days I've actually read in a row. So I went through, I counted and recounted and recounted. If you could see all the paper or all the pencil marks, you would see how many times I changed the orientation of how I was going to lay everything out and where I was going to start everything. It was a little bit of a mess. Anyways, I did come up with a final layout, and this is what I'm now putting down in black ink. I'm going to go from left to right, from 1 to 31, and then from top to bottom, January to December. And essentially, each day for each month will have its own box, and I will be able to color in each box for every day that I read. Now, that's why this spread took so long, because drawing all of these little lines, so it's like 33, 34 lines by the time you add all the external lines and everything, it took a hot minute. So thankfully, this is sped up, so you don't have to sit here and watch how long it took me actually, but it did take quite some time. I was pretty tired by the end of it, but at least it got done. So I've already, and you'll see by the layout here on the end, you can see January has 31 days, February has 28. So you see I've made sure that I only have the number of days for each month. And that's one of the things that took so long, was counting all of the squares to make it work. I could have spread this out over 2 pages to make it a little larger, but honestly, it doesn't need to be larger. It's just a visual representation of how many days I've read throughout the year. So I feel like these smaller boxes, the thinner boxes, would be fine. So I'm not worried about it. So I'm almost at the end. Thankfully, you can see I'm like shaking out my hand because it's getting annoying. Anyways, I'm almost at the end. That I'm going to add the months. Again, I had hoped to stamp in the months with the stamps, but I learned my lesson on the previous spread, so I'm just going to go ahead and hand write the letters in. I'm just putting the first letter this time, so J, F, M, you know how it goes. And I'm trying to make sure it's dry. The S-gel pens are gel, so it does take a second or two to make sure it dries. Again, you'll see this in a later spread. I do get a bit of a bleed that I smudge, not a bleed, a smudge, and it stresses me out. Here I'm using my Micron pen in black, and it is a 0.1. I hate using 0.1. However, because it is so fine, it made it easier to write in all of the days because it is such a small space. Now here are those butterflies I spoke to you about, the PET ones that are pre-cut. For the most part, the bigger ones are pre-cut. The little ones you have to cut out yourself. So that's a little annoying, but I mean, at least you get the bigger ones, and it works out fine. So I'm just adding that to the page just to fill it up a little bit, and then I will be able to move on with the next spread. All right, so just struggling with the last few butterflies just to make sure it's around the page and makes it look kind of cohesive. Kept it rather neutral because the color on each of the days will add the color to the spread, so I didn't want to add too much color around the edge, but you know. All right, the next page, we are almost there. I think we have this page and another 2 pages after that I was able to get done in this video. So I am doing something very different, and I happen to be watching a YouTuber. I cannot remember the name. If I find it, I will post it in the description box or link it. But she did a spread in her reading journal that was a 6 in 2026, or that kind of vibe. It was for 6. And I titled it 6 in 2026 because to me it made sense. I don't remember if she titled it anything, but that's what I did. So essentially, what it is I am drawing 6 sets of 6 boxes, and they're kind of like goals, but they're not part of my goals, if you know what I mean. I had the goals page at the beginning, and I haven't filled them out yet, but this will kind of be along the same lines. And you just see I just erased everything, and then now I'm going in to put the title. So I'm going to put the 6 in 2026. I needed to put that down so that I knew where to put the next box, because I was kind of running out of space. I will say this up front, I did not go through and count everything as accurately as I would have liked, because you'll see a little later, once I add in the writing, the spacing is a little off, but at least it got done. So essentially, what this is I will read 6 books of a specific type, I guess, whatever I lay out, and I'll read those to you in a second, throughout 2026. And this is to kind of expand your reading, I guess, your reading types. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have so far been listening to a lot of Audible books and a lot of the same genres. So this, I'm hoping, will kind of expand my library, let's say. So the first one is going to be 6 from around the world. And when I say 6 from around the world, it could be set in another country, could be an author from another country, that kind of thing. The next one was 6 doorbusters, which are 500 or more pages. So I don't usually look at the page numbers when I'm listening to Audible, but it's something I'll have to look at. Then the next one was 6 finished series. I'd like to finish 6 series. Next one was 6 new releases. So any new books that are come out in 2026, I'd like to read 6 of them. Then, this is a big one, 6 non-fiction books. I read a lot of fiction. I'd like to read some non-fiction. And the last one are 6 paper books. Again, because I listen to so many books on Audible, it'd be really nice to go back to read actual books. I love reading books, just, I know I've explained before, I am on the road so often that Audible just makes more sense. All right, you can see I've already started on the next page. This will be a 2-page spread. Right now what you're seeing is I'm putting down some brackets, and I'll explain those in a second. The left page will have some similar size brackets, so they're about 3 boxes each. The page on the right will have larger brackets, 2 that are the same size, and then the last one, which is much bigger. Now, the goal for these pages are for my series trackers. I have this year in 2025 read or started quite a few different series. Some I've finished, so I won't put them here. Some I started and have not finished. Some are large, some are small, some are like trilogies. Some of them have like 25 books in the series. So I wanted to have a series tracker that I can put down basically any series that I've already started that I haven't finished. I can put them down here and leave space for any new series that I may start in 2026. And that's why I have the different size brackets. Each set of brackets will be for a series. I know I've read already very many, so that's why I made sure I had enough room for quite a few series. Who knows, I may have to add another page towards the end of the book at this point. With how 2025 is going, I don't know what 2026 is going to look like, since I'll be starting in January. But I have the smaller series on the left, so like trilogies, duologies could go there. Then on the right will be all the larger series, the 5 to 10 books, 25 books, that kind of thing. All right, we are on the last 2 pages for this video. I am doing 2 kind of challenges. The one on the left is going to be a book bingo. Super simple. I'm just drawing 5 columns and 5 rows of large squares and decorating the center square. I haven't even added in what each prompt will be. I'm still looking at very many different book bingos to see the kind of prompts that are put into each square. I'm thinking of going, something like, an enemies to lovers, and one of them would be, I don't know, I can't even think. One of them would be about dragons. I don't know. Just some different things to put in the bingo that I could fill out throughout the year. I have been reading lately, anyways, a lot of romantasy books. I did read a dark romance. I don't know if it's called a romance, but it was very dark. It was Under Your Scars. So different genres. So I want to put a variety of different things in the book bingo so that I have, a better chance at filling it out. Because if I put all these things that I don't usually read, then it'll probably stay blank for the year. So that's why I'm trying to do some research to make sure I have the right prompts that can go in the bingo. All right, the last page for this video is an alphabet challenge. Oh, sorry, I decided to add some washi to the book bingo. I guess I felt it was too bland on either side of the page, so I added the book bingo, added some washi to either side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that, the ever annoying trimming of washi tape. Anyways, like I was saying, the next page is the alphabet challenge. This page, along with the Days Red page, this page stressed me out. There are 26 letters in the alphabet, and 26 does not divide very well in any really good number. So I had you can see I have my phone with my calculator. I'm watching YouTube, of course. I've been really watching a lot of these, like, body cam videos, police body cam videos. Anyways, that's aside the point. I had so much trouble figuring out the spacing for this alphabet challenge. I really wanted it to be even-ish so that it would look good, but you can see I'm still working on the calculator trying to figure everything out. I'm using my fingers. Like, it was just a struggle. Anyways, I did eventually figure it out. Trial and error. Thankfully, used pencil first to make it work. I'm counting out the letters, as you can see, make sure everything fits. And then I'm going to go ahead and start using my pen now that I have it all done. So just making sure that everything works, and there you go. I've got what I need. I'm erasing the title again just because I don't want to put the sticker down on top of it. I don't want to see the pencil marks, obviously. I had printed an alphabet challenge title that was the same size as everything else, but that did not fit, like, at all. So I had to go and print a second one. Oh, and there's that smudge I told you about. So annoying. So annoying. And that was just because there was some gel from the pen left on the ruler. Anyways, I left it. Honestly, there's no point in trying to white it out. The whiteout would probably annoy me more. This makes it more like, whatever, it's being used. So I'm drawing out the little lines. These lines will be for the letters. So I'll put the letters in the lines, and you'll see I'll draw the horizontal lines in a second. And in the horizontal lines next to the letters is where I'll put the title of the book that I read that starts with that letter of the alphabet. Now, the one thing is I have seen a few different variations of this alphabet challenge where I've seen some people use, books that start with the or as the first letter of the alphabet. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the actual first full word in the title for it to count. So if the book was like The Red Letter, I don't know. I don't even know if that's a real book. Anyways, I'll use R for red. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. I have seen quite a few people do alphabet challenges, and I honestly have yet to see one person fill it all in. So, I mean, I'm not even trying to delude myself that I will be the first one to do so, at least that I've seen. But it will definitely be something fun to do, something to kind of look at when I'm looking and choosing books. So that's the only reason why I'm adding it. I really want to be able to just have some more fun ways to kind of enhance my reading, if that makes sense. So I'm just handwriting the alphabet again because of the stamp issue. And there you go, I have the alphabet challenge. Now you're going to see me play with quite a few different stickers, looking through, trying to find something that fits. This book stack is, of course, perfection. And then I was looking for other things that would fit It was, again, a struggle to make sure I found something that would fit. It doesn't need to be that big of a deal. I just really wanted something that would fit nicely. And there you go. So I'm putting that one away. I will eventually find 2 other stickers that I end up having to cut up a little bit to make them fit. But you know what? The point is, I was able to finish it, decorate it, make it look good. It'll be functional. That's the important part. So I'm really excited about having I have what, 8 spreads already that are ready to go for 2026, which is huge because if you have been following me, you know my reading journal journey started quite late. I think it started like in March or April this year. So, anyways, that is my journal so far. Oh, I forgot. I have to do this. This is that bleed through from the alcohol marker. Isn't that insane? So that's why I was saying that I was really happy that I hadn't done the title page first. Usually I do, and I don't know, something told me not to do the title page first. So I was happy that I didn't do that first. That way I could hide that bleed through. I didn't have to worry about having ruined another spread. I'm using the actual title page, which I hadn't planned on using, to be honest. I just whited out the "this book belongs to" and the lines. I'm just gonna add some clusters of some florals. You'll see in a second, I'm gonna add a bit of washi. I am not 100% happy with this title page. I feel like I was getting really tired. This had been almost 3 hours of filming over a couple days, so I was getting really tired and I wanted it to not be done, not in like a negative way, but I wanted it to be done. You know what I mean? I wanted to be able to upload this video. This has kind of unfortunately held back my Vlogmas just because I was so determined to get this video up. And then, not to mention this editing right now and doing the voiceover. I have learned a lot in the last few days, let me tell you. But at least this is getting done. I'm adding the title, Reading Journal 2026. It's not perfect, it's not gorgeous, but you know what? It's done and I can always add something later if I want to. All right, that's it for my reading journal. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 6. Bye everyone.